tutorial is going to cover math methods. Before we begin, make sure you have Java and the Java JDK downloaded on your computer. You can run java-version in your terminal to check. Also make sure that you have IntelliJ downloaded on your computer. It's suggested that you watch the previous Java tutorials. The math class. The math class is a static class with methods in it that do many calculations for you. Static classes are used like class name dot method name with its parameters in it. So in this case, class name would be math. So here are the first set of math methods you could use. Math.abs, which gives you the absolute value of whatever value you pass it. Math.ceil, which takes in a double and moves it up to whatever the next value is. Math.floor, which takes in a double and moves down to whatever the value underneath it is. So if you pass in 3.5, you'll get 3. If you pass in 3.7, you'll also get 3. Math.log base 10 takes in a value and gives you the logarithm base 10 of that value. Math.max value 1, value 2 will give you the larger of two values. Math.min value 1, value 2 will give you the smaller of two values. And math.pow base exponent will give you the base to the exponent power. Here are some more math methods. Math.random will give you a random double between 0 and 1, and this will be like 0.1 forever repeating between 0.9 forever repeating, right? It's a very big range. Math.round value will give you the nearest whole number. Math.square root value will give you the square root of any value you pass it. These next three will give you sine, cosine, or tangent of an angle in radians. And then math.2 degrees and math.radians will convert between degrees to radians and then back again. Constants. Some class constants that have, there are some classes that have constants associated with them. Constants are variables that have set values and can be used to prevent magic numbers in your code. So math.class constants for the math class are e and pi. E is used in a lot of more advanced math, and pi is just a very common irrational number. So here's some math practice. Let me get this split screened. Okay. So I'm going to right click on source and do new Java class, and I'm going to name this math methods. Double click on it, present. Okay. So I'm going to say public static void main string args, and I want to create the following methods. And in parentheses after them is the math method or constant that I want to use. So I want to return the circumference of a circle, which is 2 pi r, or the diameter times pi. I want to return a random number between two given values, and I want to return the max of 3 numbers. Okay. So first I'm going to create all the method declarations for these without the return values. So I want to get the circumference of a circle. So public static void get circumference. And I'm going to take in the radius. And now I want to create the, not void, double. Now I get the error about missing a return statement. So then I want to return a random number between two given values. So public static void get random between double 1. You know what? I'm going to do int 1, int 2. And it's going to return a double, right? Because a random number between 2 will always be a double. And now I want to get the max of three numbers. So public static void get max between three numbers, and it's going to return a double because that's what max returns. And it's going to take in double 1, double 2, double 3. Okay, and all of these have the missing return statement error, but I'm going to go ahead and call them from my main method, so that way I make sure that I actually use these methods. So I'm going to do get circumference with the radius of 3. I'm going to call get random between with 3 and 6. And then I'm going to do get max with 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm just going to return the circumference calculation in this case. So I'm going to return 2 times radius times math.pi. Great. And now I'm going to do get max because it's a little bit easier than get random between. So I'm going to say int 1 to max equals math dot. And whenever I do dot, you can see that IntelliJ tries to autocorrect for me and gives me a list of all the different methods I could use for the math class. So I'm going to do max of 1 and 2. Ooh, okay, so I'm getting an error here because they're incompatible types. I required an int, but it found a double. That means this actually needs to be double. Double 2, 3 max equals math.max of 2 and 3. And then double final max is the math.max of 1, 2 max and 2, 3 max. And then I'm just going to return final max. Great. So it got the max of the first two, the max of the second two, and then the max of all of them. So get random between. The way that you do random numbers is in order to expand the range of the random number, you multiply it by a number, and then you scoot it over a certain number, a certain amount to get it to be the however far away from 0 you want it to be. So the first thing I need to do is get the difference between 1 and 2. So int range equals math.abs of 1 minus 2. And getting the absolute value will give me a positive range every time. So now I want to do int min, because that's how much I want to move it over, equals math dot min of 1 and 2. Okay, so now I want to multiply by the range and scoot over by the min. So I'm going to do return math dot random times range plus min. And because of order of operations, the multiplication will happen first, but if you want to be really sure about that visually, you can put it in parentheses. So this will, normally it's between 0 and 1, and if I multiply by range, it'll give me between 0 and whatever the range I multiplied by was. So in this case, it'll be between 0 and 3. And then I want to move it over 3, which is the minimum of 1 and 2. So now it'll be between 3 and 6. Okay, so let's not make the same mistake we made before, which was not saving off the values of these things. So I'm going to say int double circumference, double random number, and then double max equals. And now I also want to print out these three values so I can actually get some information from my program. System.out.println circumference plus circumference. And whenever it auto-completes like this in IntelliJ, you just press enter to fill in all the rest of it. System.out.println random between random number and then system.out.println max plus max. And I could have put more information in these print statements to make sure that I totally understood what was going on from the output of my program, but I'm going to leave them like this just so that the print statements are a little bit shorter and easy for you to see on the screen. So again, this right here will tell me what class I'm about to run, and oops, this should be a semicolon, not a colon. What I'm about to run, and it's return values, and that's not the class I want to run. So I'm going to do run, and I'm going to select math methods. And that, okay, so great. I got this circumference, a random number between 1 and 6, and then the max is 3 between 1, 2, and 3, which is exactly what I expected. Now if I run this again, I'll get a different random number. So the second time I ran it, I got this really long complicated number. So later, we're going to learn how to format numbers so that you don't get these crazy doubles with a ton of decimal places after them. And that's it. I hope that was helpful.